Now, there's a strong push for an overhaul of protocols at the Ghana Education Trust Fund to ensure transparency in disbursement of funds. The Auditor General's performance review of the Education Trust Fund revealed, among others, GetFund overspent its budgets, disproportionately disbursed funds to foreign scholarships, some of which were granted without documentations. Professor Godfred Wakping says the Auditor General's report shows state institutions have failed the ordinary Ghanaian.
To assure himself that what he is putting out there is something he can stand by at any time. Other than the accounting firms could have also explained this whole issue out and all of that and say that, you know what, this was what they gave me. No, the fact that they gave it to you doesn't mean that you should just put it out there and say that then go take them on. I'm saying that we all can do better. Remember, my understanding is that in auditing, it goes beyond the law. There are professional standards you have to keep to, ethical standards you have to keep to, and all of that. Because you see, I hope we are not missing the point. The Auditor General is doing creditably well.
Yes.
In the interest of Ghana. And when I said this and I raise issues with what has happened, I'm saying so to encourage him.
All right.
That he can do better. Going forward, let's be a bit more thorough because you know how people are going to take your report. He himself knows how many people perhaps want him out. You don't give yourself out.
And that's Professor Godfred Wakping. He's an economist and a professor of finance there, obviously speaking on Newsfile on Saturday. Now, opinions are split on whether or not the Auditor General Daniel Domalovo erred in publishing names of beneficiaries of GetFund scholarships without checking if they actually received the monies listed against their names. This follows exchange of letters between lawyers for Deputy Minister of Agriculture Kennedy Osei-Nyako, who was listed as a beneficiary, and the Auditor General. Some of the supposed beneficiaries are threatening legal action on basis that they did not receive any money from GetFund. Private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu believes that the Auditor General should have done further checks. He also spoke on Newsfile on Saturday.
Expression, please. It's one and the same thing. You've disbursed money, it's public funds, and you know that once the report is going to become public, people are going to make comments, and rightfully so. You see how the whole nation is charged. So I think that it behoves on him to double check with, or apart from the auditee, also the alleged, the persons who have allegedly received their money unlawfully. In any event, you see, I don't know if we can make this point now. It looks like we've all been carried away by the point that has been made that the monies were given out unlawfully. I don't think it looks like that. Because let's be very clear about this. The list was the budget was presented to Parliament, and Parliament passed it. And you know that you can't spend a dime without the Appropriation Act. So that's an act of Parliament. And I have been in court before. There was this now about the mistakes that the Statute Law Revision Commission made. So many mistakes. We all complain at the bar. Yet when we presented that case to the Supreme Court lambasted Parliament. But at the end of the day, they said, look, the reports were presented to Parliament. Parliament failed to scrutinize and pass. So for them, the Supreme Court wouldn't have anything to do with it. But at the sitting, they had approved the budget. And in it is clear that we are awarding X amount. So let's say off the top of my head, I can remember the one for 2016. They say, yes, we agree. They are awarding 20 million cedis for the foreign scholarships. And it's in there. And the parliamentary records, they are public records. So we can all access them. So let's not run away with this and that is unlawful.
Also speaking on Newsfile, Assistant Public Relations Officer of the Auditor General's Department, Bernard Kodia, said such third parties are contacted only when the institution being audited fails to provide sufficient information. But the GetFund provided sufficient documentation on this particular issue.
We have is this: having submitted the report to Parliament, PAC will then be looking at it. But where the Auditor General deems it necessary to disallow any expenditure and surcharge the persons, that is where we now get to the individual beneficiary.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the process. Bernard, listen to me. I'm talking about the process of auditing. I'm not talking about when you are done and submit report. When you are doing the auditing, please, can I ask a question? When you are doing the auditing,
yes, please.
you don't contact the third parties if third parties are involved. You don't contact them and ask them any questions. Is that what you're saying?
During the audit process, we do not. What we do is to obtain the relevant information from the management. The people we contact, if there's a management that has left office and we need to get to them, then we do. Where there is an agency, let's say the bank account of an institution we are auditing, where we need to obtain evidence of supposed transfers, we do. But the individual who, just like you said, if they bought something or someone received something, we don't go to those individuals. What we need is proof of these transactions from the relevant institutions. Having done that, if we come to the conclusion that this payment is irregular or this payment is contrary to law, and therefore someone has to refund, that is where we now narrow to the beneficiary or whoever authorized that payment or whose negligence might have resulted in that. So when we are to disallow an expenditure and proceed to surcharge the persons involved, that is where you now have to give notice of intention to these individuals as mentioned in the report or any other document that we used in arriving at these decisions. But the focus of the audit was on the administration of scholarship by GetFund.
Okay.
And the processes they have put in place to be sure that they are indeed providing
it's not helping.
All right.
Should have put out those things.
All right.
And you have the Assistant Public Relations Officer of the Auditor Service speaking there to host of JoyNews' news analysis program on Saturday.